Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around this beautiful, beautiful world. Happy New Year. I'm so wishing you 2022 to be an amazing year ahead, to be very successful, very joyful, full with love, and full with a lot of belly laughter, as laughter is an amazing medicine right now to go through anything which is going on around the world. So I hope you had an amazing time during Christmas, an amazing celebration at the New Year Eve. And right now, you're super, super ready to start working. Today, we're going to talk about something which is a must to know. So today we're going to talk about how you can get to a TEDx stage and what are the steps to be able to have a very successful TEDx, as many of the people decide to do a TEDx, but then they don't follow many steps. They just follow the very generic steps. And as a result, what happens is that they become a TEDx speaker, but then their video doesn't reach thousands of millions of people out there. And I strongly, strongly believe that at the end of the day, people want to do a TEDx because they want to share their wisdom, their knowledge, their inspiration with so many people out there, which also means that you have to reach all these people out there to share and to get your wisdom. That's why today, the very first live in 2022 is all about what steps to follow to be able to have a very successful TEDx. So what I'm going to share right now, there is one comment. Let me check. Let me know where you're watching it from, how you're doing today. Happy Friday as well. Good morning from Canada. Good morning, Gail. How are you? And you're tagging also Ingo. Thank you so much. I hope that Ingo can make it and join as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so what I want to show you is a very simple 4-step system, what I call soon to be a TEDx speaker formula. So let me share, see if you can watch it, if you can see my screen with the 4 modules. So module 1 in that formula, and step number 1 for you is to mobilize. You need to mobilize yourself to be able to start applying for TEDx events and follow certain rules for TEDx. What I want to show you here is the most common mistakes what people do. So mistake number 1, what people do when they apply for TEDx is that actually they apply to TED instead of TEDx. The difference is this: TED events happen only once a year, usually in Vancouver, and it's a 5 days event, 5 days conference. So because it's only 5 days per year, only the very big names go to the TED stage. What you actually want to do is to apply for TEDx. TEDx means independently organized events which happen around you, wherever you are around this world. There's so many TEDx events happening around you. So what I want you to remember is that the way to apply to TEDx, there was a specific video a few weeks ago what I made. But the way to apply is to go to TED.com, to events, and then go through apply there. And that's how you apply specifically for TEDx. Is written TEDx events. So don't mix the TED and TEDx, because the moment when you apply for TED, what happens is that you will not have that quick answer, where when you apply for TEDx, the answer will be much, much quicker. And there is a much bigger chance to get on your local TEDx stage. Hope that makes sense. Put a yes or no in the comment. Let's just check the comments very quickly. There is a user which I can't see your name. I'm so sorry. Happy and healthy New Year from Germany. Thank you so much. And good afternoon. Thank you so much. If you can put the name, because you didn't give the permissions for, in my case, StreamYard, because I'm using StreamYard software to do all my lives today. That's why I can't see your name. But please put your name so I can actually say your name and shout out to you. Love Vilana Georgieva formulas and her process. Thank you so much. Great. Okay, so let's just go back to the different mistakes. The mistake number 2, what people do is actually to apply for TEDx events which are too soon. Okay, this is something which I see over and over. And what happens actually is that when you apply for an event which is way too soon, you got rejections. And I don't want that to happen to you, especially as this is the beginning of 2022. And I'm sure one of your goals for 2022 is to be on TEDx stage. So instead of applying for an event which is way too soon, I want you to remember this. Do speak with the TEDx organizers before you apply. So contact them, speak with them, have a quick chat, have like a virtual coffee. Doesn't matter if they live like down the same street as you. Just have a chat with them, because all of the TEDx organizers are super approachable. They do that as a volunteer, and they're super excited to the TEDx event. So they will be super excited also to speak with you. So have a chat with them and do ask the questions what you've got in your mind. Obviously, one of the questions is everything full and fully booked with speakers, or you still have a space for me? This is one very simple question, but the answer of this question brings a lot of success to you. So make sure you do ask this question. And tip number 2 is to contact TEDx events which are at least 3 months from today. So as of today, 7th of January, this means that pretty much the full January is fully booked already. All the events happening in February, most probably also fully booked. There's a huge chance the events happening in March to be also fully booked. I'm sorry to give you this news, but the reason why I'm doing this live is exactly because I want your goal of getting on TEDx stage in 2022 to happen, to really happen. So in simple words, do apply for events which are happening from April onwards, because there's a bigger chance that they will have a space for you and you're going to be approved to be a speaker on that stage. So let me check very quickly the comments. There are no new comments. Put any kind of questions below so I can answer on the go, because what I want to do, and we're still doing the mobilize step, I want to go through few more steps within the mobilize step, because they're mistakes what I see, and I really don't want you to do those mistakes. Mistake number 3, what I've seen all the time, is that people pick a topic for their TEDx and they haven't decided who is their audience. So this is so super important. And I'll tell you this: when you decide on your topic, you also have to define your audience, who your audience is, because you have to speak their language. I know it's very early because you didn't even start applying right now for TEDx, okay? But you do have a topic in your mind, which basically means that as you have a topic, write down. It's very simple. Write down on a piece of paper who is your audience. Because after this, when you start working on TEDx, that's going to serve you big time. When you start writing your script, you have to speak that language of your audience, which is a huge thing. If you don't speak that language, then you're not going to create that connection with your audience and that rapport. And therefore, people will not connect, felt connected with you, and they're not going to really enjoy the topic. So you have to speak that language to the people you really have in your mind. Just put them in the paper. That's it. And another tip what I've got for you is just a reminder: TEDx is about you, but is not for you. So you're going to speak about you, about most probably about you, your clients, people you know, the people what you read their books, or anything which is about you, about them, but is not for you. So don't forget that everything what you're saying is for the audience, for the people who are going to watch you, and is not for you. Okay, so this is golden rule number 1 about all kind of public speaking, but specifically for TEDx as well, if you want really your TEDx to be super successful in 2022. Now, in the same mobilize step, what I want to show you today as part of the soon to be a TEDx speaker formula, there is another mistake what I've seen all the time, which is that people wait until they're approved to start working on their TEDx. This is actually a huge mistake. So let me ask you this question. When you do your work, do you start working directly on the tasks, or you take time, you actually write down your goals, and then you make a plan? So step number one, what usually, put a yes or a no if this is correct. Put a yes if you do step number one to actually define your goal, and step number two to make a plan. It's not, and put a no if you don't do these steps, and put the steps what you do. But usually people don't directly put like head over heels to start working on the tasks. They take their time, they say, this is what I want to achieve, this is my outcome, and these are the steps, this is the plan. And this, like, TEDx should not make any difference from any other work, correct? So mistake number 5, what people do is that they don't write down the TEDx goals. And obviously what happens is that, you know, that if you didn't write down your goal, what you want as an outcome, then you do things, you become a TEDx speaker. And when you look behind, after this back, you're like, okay, yes, I became a TEDx speaker, but is that what I wanted? And you always have that unfulfilled feeling that you thought that becoming a TEDx speaker is something else. Actually, it's very simple. You feel unfulfilled because you didn't write down all these goals. So let me just go through the comments quickly. Yes goes first, says Robin. Thank you so much, Robin. Ingo is saying, good morning from Toronto, Canada. Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, Ingo. And thanks for the tag, Gail. Yes, Gail. Thank you so much. Okay, let me go back to my step number 1. Mobilize yourself. Now, because people do the mistake number 5 to not write down their goals, please do sit down. You already put TEDx as a goal in 2022. Now I want you to actually answer a very simple question. What exactly is your expectation from TEDx? To share your wisdom, great. To inspire a lot of people, yes. To become a TEDx speaker, absolutely yes. Is there anything else? Because there's so much behind TEDx. It's like a list, like visibility, position yourself, gain credibility for what you do, be worldwide recognized as an expert in that field, what you do, to create a digital business card, to create a legacy. TEDx is a legacy after all, to have X amount of views on your video. I don't know, like I'm just, blurting out many different options, but I want you really to write down what exactly is your TEDx goal. And this is still part of the mobilize, part of yourself mobilizing for 2022 and becoming a TEDx speaker. Now, I'm going to move on to mistake number 6. What people do is that they don't align their TEDx goal with their business or personal goals. So depending if you're doing a business TEDx topic, or you're doing a personal TEDx topics, because they're very different as well. But whatever you put as a goal, please align your TEDx goal with your business goal, your TEDx goal with your personal goal, because at the end, this is your life. They all need to be completely synchronized. Otherwise, TEDx will stand somewhere there, and whatever goals you put for 2022 will be like standalone as well, and they need to speak. So please don't do that mistake number 6 as people do. I'm gonna switch to comments as well. Again, absolutely goals is first. It says Ingo, yes, need to do goals and then tasks. Good reminder. Yes, my absolute pleasure. That's why I do my lives. Okay, so mistake number 7, to start working, what people do is to start working on their script the moment when they're approved. So now we are still in the mobilize, okay, mobilizing ourselves. Next step is to start jumping and start writing your script. But actually, it would be a big mistake if you have been just approved for TEDx and you start writing your script, okay? Because if you miss the goals and you didn't put your goals, then you can't just move to step number 2, making your script, if you didn't complete the mobilize step of writing down your goals. I hope that makes sense. So don't jump from mobilize to making the script if you haven't finished the first step of mobilizing yourself. Now, one of the most common mistake what people do is that they are not writing a script thinking they can go on stage and they can be in a complete flow. Let me tell you this. The results of what you're gonna have if you just go on stage, you didn't have a script, you didn't practice, is that your TEDx talk is gonna turn into a long storytelling moment, okay? There will be no that much wisdom what you wanted in the first place. There will be not that much learning for the audience as a takeaway, what they're going to take away from you in your TED talk. And at the end, you're going to get off stage and you'll be like, again, feeling unfulfilled, because you can, like majority of the speakers what I speak with, they say, I went on stage, I didn't have a script because I thought that TEDx is like speaking from the heart, because I didn't want to sound like a robot. I didn't want to be like learning specific words and script and then going and just delivering that script. And they say, right now, I feel, and I'm going to quote, I feel that I didn't say everything what I wanted to say. And another quote I'm going to quote as well. I didn't say it with the powerful words what I planned in my head. These are the two results what always happens when people do that mistake to go on stage just in a flow and they don't write the script because they just think that they will be in a flow. So it's just a reminder again, TEDx is about you, but is not for you. So always start from that way of perception. So do perceive TEDx as you're going to speak about yourself, but it is for the audience who are going to watch you, okay? There is one comment, aligning goals. Yep, need to do that too. I woke up thinking about that. So stop and focus. Absolutely. Stop, girl, and focus. Your goals, all your goals, what you put for 2022, they have to align. They like, you should not have one goal. I'm not talking about TEDx only right now. You should not have a goal which is like kind of hanging somewhere, right? They all have to be a big picture. You have to see the full big picture for 2022 and then do the plan and then start working on that plan. At least this is what usually brings a lot of success, I can tell you. Now, another mistake what people do in the make process is that they completely forget that there is another step, what I call master. Master is the step when you're practicing your talk. So now in the step master, as part of the soon to be a TEDx speaker formula, what basically is there is that now we're talking about body language, voice intonation, walking on stage. Don't forget, on stage, you're going to have a red carpet, which is usually round, and you're not allowed to leave that carpet, right? So because usually the carpet is about 2-meter diameter, if you didn't practice at home, if you completely forget that step mastering, okay, mastering your script at home before you get on stage, when you get on stage, what's going to happen is that you're going to stand in full presence, in full power, and then you're going to start making one step left, one step right, and you're going to feel super limited, super restricted. So now instead of really enjoying what you're saying and totally be present with what you're saying with the perfect voice intonation, with the great body languages, you're actually subconsciously, your body will be like, I don't have time to move. I don't have any room to move around. You're going to stress, okay? So it is so important, the third step, which is master, to master your script and to master what you're going to speak, and practice. Practice makes perfection. We all know that. You should never forget that there is this step of practicing, of mastering, okay? So this is now public speaking. It is the script with all the powerful words, but you have to also put not just the body language, the voice intonation, and the walking around. You also have to put natural poses, after different sentences, because the natural pause is what is going to make your audience to give them time to digest what you're saying. So we all speak, I speak quite fast, okay? I know that. But when you have to basically plan those natural pauses, and when you are on stage in full presence, yes, you're going to deliver it with those natural pauses, which sounds natural, but actually you know that you have to put that pause on that place, because the people need to digest what you're saying. So I hope that makes sense. Put a yes or a no if it's makes sense. Otherwise, I'll have to explain a little bit more. Robin is saying, great point. Is there usually a teleprompter? Okay, so this is a great question, and thank you so much for bringing it on. I would never, ever, ever recommend you to use a teleprompter, and I'll tell you why. When you get, so I want you to close your eyes for a second and imagine you are on TEDx stage, okay? You've got camera in front of you. You usually have camera on the right side or on the left side or on both sides. So these are either 2 cameras or 3 cameras, okay? So, and then you have the audience in front of you, okay? So imagine the audience in front of you, either amphitheater style or just a theater style, in different sections, and 3 cameras, best way, 3 cameras, okay? When you don't have a teleprompter, you make an eye contact with the people what are in front of you in the audience, and then you make an eye contact with the cameras. So the front camera, the right camera, the left camera, right? Now, if you have a teleprompter, you have to only watch, usually teleprompter is right underneath the central camera. You only watch that teleprompter. You're going to speak what is on the teleprompter. Even you are not going to be able to even look left or right to make eye contact with your audience, because you have to read what is on the teleprompter. Otherwise, it's gone. You will be like, if you start looking to make eye contact with someone on your left side, everything, the text will be gone, and then when you go back to the teleprompter, you're going to be lost in your text. Okay, makes sense. Put a yes or a no, Robin, because that's really important. And what happens when you don't make that eye contact with the audience, you lost them. You completely lost them. Then someone is going to start talking very quietly, or they will think that they're going to be super quiet to speak, like, oh, she's reading. Someone is gonna I don't know, like worst case scenario, start eating something and making a lot of noise, or anything which happening because they're not connected. They don't feel connected with you, and you don't want that completely misconnection. Okay, what you want as a TEDx speaker is to get on stage and be fully, not just fully present, but also to look at the different people's eyes and speak to them, speak with all the people around. Okay, so Robin, you said perfect sense. Thank you so much. So yes, please don't use a teleprompter, because that's really gonna disserve you. So it's better, and I'll tell you this is part of master step as part of the soon to be a TEDx speaker formula. When we master our script, okay, we basically go with the perfection, and there's no such thing as a perfection, right? But when you go with perfection, when you practice at home, and when I teach people to practice, what I want basically for 4 sessions, what we do for 4 sessions, we do live presentation, and then I give them feedback, then another live presentation and feedback. The reason why I usually give the feedback is because I can see how much they remember, and I can give them different ideas, different practicing hacks, I call them, to start practicing different way. Every one of us is very different. Some of us remember very quickly the text because we're visual. Some of them are very very good with listening. So let me give you that tip. What I ask people is to record their script and listening it into the car, when they hoovering at home, when they're washing the dishes, when they do something else, they can listen to their own voice and their own script, because they're really good with hearing how, like, it's not the knowledge, skills, right? So anyway, when you master, basically, you have to give your best to remember everything from your script. What's going to happen when you get on stage is this: you will forget a little bit, a few sentences here and there. You might forget the whole phrase, the whole section. Okay, that's perfectly fine. That's normal. Okay, but those sections, what you deliver the way the script is, you deliver it with the very best powerful words, what you picked when you wrote your script. And you deliver it with the language for your audience, which makes that connection between you and the audience. Okay, put a yes or no if that makes sense, because it's super, super important. So don't do that common mistake, which is right now written, that you're not going to give yourself enough time to practice, because it's so important, so super, super important to have enough. So when I say enough time, let me tell you, depending, different people are really learning longer or shorter time to as a script. So it's anything between 4 or 5 days to 2 months, right? I have an amazing lady which right now we've been practicing with her for 2 months, and that's perfectly fine, because she wants to make sure that it is really the way how she wants to perform it. But I had an amazing Kuram Sadek. He learned I helped him with his TEDx number 3 and TEDx number 4. He learned the script within 4 days or 5 days. He's like super onto it, and 5 days was enough for him. So it really depends, but do give yourself practice time. Don't put TEDx to be like, let's say on 20th of April, and then on 18th of April start stressing around that you didn't practice. Well, hell, you've got only 2 days. Of course, you're going to be super stressed. Okay. So there is one comment. Robin says, yes, perfect sense. That's great. Thank you so much. Okay. So the next mistake, what is now in module Magnify, and Magnify is everything around social media hacks. So I call it the Mighty Growth Magnify, but what we have here is the social media strategies, the social selling strategies, the YouTube strategies, which is so super, super important. And here's the biggest mistake, what I've seen so many times. People forget that the TEDx video is going to go on YouTube. And people forget that YouTube has artificial intelligence engines behind. It has a lot of specific features like hashtags, tags, category, title, description in the YouTube. And they completely ignore that. And because they underestimate the power of YouTube, what happens is that they don't use any of the YouTube features for their TEDx video. And as a result, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say this out loud, but as a result, 75% of the TEDx speaker actually have between 120 to 380 views, simply because they didn't use any of those features of YouTube. This is gold. This is super big mistake if you don't use the YouTube features, because this is how your video is going to be shown to complete strangers who never heard of your name. They don't know your topic, they never seen your face, but they have to come and watch your YouTube TEDx video. And the way how they're gonna come and watch your TEDx video is through all these YouTube features, what we've got in the fourth step, which is Magnify. There's one comment, I'm gonna come to the comment just in a second. I'll bring last mistake, all right? There is another huge mistake what people do all the time, which is that they don't have any good social media strategy to diffuse the talk and make it visible to thousands of millions of people. Okay, diffusing your talk is so super crucial. It's super crucial to diffuse your talk in the first 24 and the first 48 hours after it has been published on YouTube. Okay, I can't comment publishing on TED.com because they have different rules. Your TEDx talk is going to go also on Spotify. It's going to go on Netflix. It's going to go on about 50 platforms. However, YouTube is one of the biggest platforms because it has 2.3 billion users, which is 79% of the internet population around the world. Okay, so that's why it's so important to put all the YouTube features in your video, and then to have that super specific strategy for TEDx, how you're going to diffuse your video to all the possible people, so you can trigger YouTube to start showing it to strangers. So the way how it works is very simple. The first thing what you do once it's published in the first 48 hours is to diffuse it, to show it, to send it, to share it with all the people you know in your life. And then the second part, you don't control the second part. The moment when your video reach X amount, usually about 1,000 views, then what happens is YouTube start working for you and start pushing your video up and up to show it to all these people who are interested in your topic, interested in what you're saying, interested in the title, interested in everything what your TEDx is about. So there are two parts here. The first part is something you do to diffuse your video. The second part is YouTube working for you. You can't do anything after this. So your job is not going to finish the day when your TEDx talk has been done and delivered on stage. This is not the end of your job as a TEDx speaker. The end of your job is usually about a week or 2 weeks after your TEDx video has been published, because it's you to help YouTube to diffuse your video to as many people as possible. Put a yes or no if that makes sense, because I want to make sure that this is really received and understood. So Hala, I'm not quite sure what is your message here. Do apologize, but yes, please write it there. So please follow me on LinkedIn if you don't follow me, and please follow me on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook if you're watching on Facebook right now. Please share it with everyone who put a TEDx in their goals for 2022, because those 4 steps, simple steps: mobilize yourself to become a TEDx speaker, make your script, master, practice your script, and then magnify, diffuse it to as many people as possible using very specific social media strategies. There are 4 steps, that's it. 4 steps to take you to a very complete and accomplished goal of becoming a TEDx speaker. Thank you so much for watching today. If you have any other questions, put them in the comments. I'm here to answer them. Please share it again with everyone you know that they do want to become TEDx speakers, because this is important. Let's just share 4 very simple steps. Let me just remove it. And thank you so much for joining today on Friday, 7th of January. Ingo is saying, thank you so much, Biljana. You're so welcome. Robin says, great information. Thank you so much for watching, all of you. I'm so wishing you an amazing, amazing Friday. And I'm going to see you next Friday at 12 p.m. UK time, which is 7 a.m. Canadian time and 7 a.m. Eastern time in America. I'm sending you a lot of love and energy to all of you around the world, and I'm going to see you next Friday.